Hey guys, in the last video we created the plugin in general. We also created the custom post type file. Alright, so now we have this videos link in the sidebar. We can go to add new, but all we have is a title. So what we need to do is go to our fields file, which is this one here, and we're going to create this. Alright, so we're going to need a function, and we're going to call this yvg underscore add fields meta box. All right, because that's what the fields area is surrounded in, is a meta box. Okay, so we need to use the add meta box function. All right, so in here we're going to set a bunch of parameters. First one is going to be the ID, which will be yvg underscore video fields. Okay, next thing is going to be the title, which is going to go inside of a localization function, double underscore. We'll say video fields. Okay, now we need the callback. So we'll call this yvg video fields callback, which we'll create in a second. And we'll say video normal and default. Alright, so that's the add meta box. Now we need to add the action, and we want to use the add meta boxes hook, and we want to put this in there. Okay, so that'll create it for us. Alright, but to add content to it, we're going to need to create this callback function. So let's copy that, and this will display meta box content. So we'll say function. Alright, and this is going to take in a variable called post. Alright, even though it's a video, even though it's the custom post type is video, we're still going to use post here. It still applies. Alright, if you did the to-do list project with me, then you'll remember the nonce field, which is basically like an access key to make sure that this form is actually submitted from where it's supposed to be. Alright, so we want to say wp underscore nonce underscore field. Alright, and then we're going to pass in a file base name like that, and then we'll say yvg underscore videos nonce. Alright, now we need a variable for the stored data. So we'll say yvg underscore video stored meta. Okay, and then whoops, that's not what I want to do. I want to set that equal to get post meta, which is a function, and that's going to take in the post ID like that. Alright. Now what we're going to do is we're going to end the PHP here, because we're going to put in a whole bunch of HTML, and I don't feel like putting it all inside of variables and so forth. So what we're going to do is create a div, and we'll give it a class. Whenever you're working in the back end, you should use the wrap class just to format it correctly. And we'll also give it a class of video form. And I'm going to put each field inside of a class called form group. Okay, we're only going to have, I think, 2 fields here anyway. Okay, first one's going to be the video ID, so we're going to get our label, and we'll say for video ID. Alright, and then for the label text itself, I'm going to say PHP echo. Actually, we don't need an echo. We can just say escape underscore HTML underscore E. What that does is it's going to, for one, escape the HTML, and then the E on the end, that's localization so that we can use other languages and all that in our plugin. Alright, so the text we want it to say is video ID. And then we just need our text domain, which will just make it YVG underscore domain. Alright, actually we'll do dash domain. Alright, so that's the label. So let's go ahead and do the input. Okay, this is going to be a text field. And we're going to give this a name of video underscore ID. And then I'm going to give it an ID of video dash ID. Okay, this for attribute should match this ID attribute. Alright, so that's the ID. What else do we need here? We need a value. Alright, for the value we're going to need PHP. And we're going to do a little if statement here. Okay, so we're going to say if not empty. And then we can get the current data from this variable right here that we set. This video stored meta. Alright, so we'll grab that and we'll say if not empty that, and that's an array. So we want to check for the video ID field, see if that's there. Alright, if it's not empty, so if it is there, then we're going to echo escape adder, and then we'll paste that in again, YVG video stored meta video ID. Like that. Except we need the actual data, which is in the 0 index, so we need to just tack on that. And then yeah, that should be good. So let's end that and go like that. Alright, so that should be the input field. I know there's kind of a lot crammed into that. Okay, now we're going to have another form group. So we'll go under this one. Actually, let's just copy this. Okay, and then for this one, this is going to be for details. Change this to details. Okay, and then this one's going to be a little different. We're going to be using an editor. So I'm going to get rid of that input. And we're going to open up a block of PHP. Okay, first thing we're going to set is a content variable. We're going to set it to get post meta, and then we're going to pass in the post ID. Okay, we want to pass in details and true. Next we have an editor variable, and we're going to just set that to the field, which is details, and then settings, which is going to be an array. And in here we're going to specify the rows, so text area rows, which we're going to set to 5, and then the media buttons, I'm going to actually set that to false. We don't need those. Like that. Okay, and now all we need to do is call WP editor, or WP underscore editor, and we just need to pass in those three things. right. Okay. And then the next thing I want to do in here in this callback is I just want to display the actual video if it's there. Okay, so we're going to go under this div and let's do PHP if and we want to say is set, and we want to use this stored meta array. Okay, if stored meta, and we'll check for the video ID, and we also need to add the 0 on the end here. Alright, so if that, I'm just going to use this shorthand end if. Alright, so if that's found, then we want the iframe. Now if we go to YouTube and let me see, I'll just go to my thing, my page, oops, and just pick something. And what we're going to be getting from YouTube to add a video to the gallery is the ID, which can be shown right here in the URL. Alright, so that's the ID. But what we want to do now is get the embed code. So if we go to share and then embed, let's grab that and we'll put that right in here. Alright, now what we want to do is just replace this ID with this right here. Okay, we'll grab that, copy that, and then we'll replace this. We're going to have to concatenate it. Actually, no, we don't need to concatenate. We just need our PHP tags. And we're going to echo that. Alright, just like that. That should do it. Alright. So let's just see if this actually displays for us. Alright, so we have our video ID field and our details. Now we just want to be able to save a video. Alright, so because we can't do that yet, so we're going to go down here, create another function called YVG underscore video save, and that's going to take in a post ID variable, and I'm going to set a couple things here. We're going to set is autosave to WP underscore is post autosave, and then you want to pass in that post ID. Alright, and we're also going to do that with is revision. So I'm going to copy that. Say is revision. Okay, and then another variable we're going to call is valid nonce. This is the other side of the nonce where it has to match. So we're going to set this to a conditional. We're going to say if it is set, and we're going to get the post variable, and that should come in as that should be, I believe it has to be the same as this right here. So we'll check for that, and we want to verify it. So we're going to go after this parentheses and say and WP verify nonce, and then pass in that same thing. Like that. And then that takes another parameter. We have to put in base name, file, and then that's going to be true. else it's going to be false. Okay, so that's going to verify the nonce for us. Alright, now we actually have to test for these things. So we need to say if, and we're going to pass in is autosave or is revision or is not is valid nonce. Whoops, that needs a $sign. Alright, just like that. Okay, so if any of these are true, then we're going to just return. Alright, and then we'll keep going, and if we didn't return, we're just going to check for the fields. So we'll say if is set, and we want to check for post variables here. So post, we want the video ID. So if is set video ID, then we're going to update post meta. So we're just saying if the post variable's there, then let's update it to that. Alright, and this is going to take in that post ID variable. Whoops, what happened? Alright, so post ID, and then we need the field name, which is video ID. And then let's use this sanitized text field function, because you want to cleanse your post input. Video ID. Alright, so that should be good. Alright, and then I'm just going to copy that, and we want to do the same thing for details. Change this to details, and we want to change this to details. Alright, so that's the function. Now we just need our add action, and we can get this over with. Alright, so let's run this at save post, and it's going to be YVG video save. Alright, let's save it and reload. Alright, let's see if we can add a video here. So we'll grab this ID. Okay, I'm going to grab the title. Put that there, and I'll grab, I mean, you could put your own description, but I'm just going to copy this one. Put that there. Category, let's just say category 1, publish, and there we go. So far, I just need to open this a little bit. Okay, and we even have the video there. We probably want to add some margin. You know what we'll do is add, very quickly, let's add some CSS to this. Alright, so let's go to style admin CSS. And let's do video, whoops, video form, font size 18 pixels, and I'm not the best designer, so if you want to make this look different, feel free. So video form input. Say video form label. Whoops. Let's see, we want to display a block and padding bottom 10 pixels, and then let's do the form group. We'll just do padding bottom 15 pixels. Alright, let's make it look a little better. Okay, so that didn't include for some reason. Let's go back to our scripts. Okay, so same issue here as before. We have video gallery, which it should be vid gallery. So I'll change those. And there we go. Alright, so that looks a little neater. Alright, so we can now add videos. If we go to our videos page, you can see it's in the table here. So that's all set. So what we have left is we need to do the short code so that we can see it on the front end. We also need to add a settings. And what we're going to do, instead of doing what we did before by adding to the its own settings page here, I'm going to show you how you can actually integrate it with one of these. Okay, so if we go to reading, we'll have it show down here. All right, just something different, and that's using the settings API. All right, so we'll get to those things next.